Hi, this is Dan, and I'm a Zero Pain Now certified coach. I'm here with a client of mine, Julie Druzak, and we're just going to talk a little bit and share with you guys what she experienced in working with me, and particularly the Zero Pain Now program. So, hey.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Thanks for having me here.
Sure. So we started working together just a little under 2 months ago. I was looking at my calendar, and that was the first time we spoke. I sent you some books, and less than 2 months ago, we actually began the Zero Pain Now process. Before we get into results and how that worked for you, just give me a little background as to, when your pain started, what you've done for it, how long you've been in pain, how it impacted your life, anything along those lines to kind of share, how challenging the pain was throughout much of your life.
So, I guess there was a time I really can't remember not having back pain, but if I had to pinpoint it back to a specific point in time, I would probably say it amplified at the birth of my first child 17 years ago.
Okay.
And I had a really bad, I think she was like maybe 1 month old. And I went to pick her up in the carrier after I got out of the shower, and my back just went. It felt like someone took a sledgehammer. I thought it broke my back. It was that bad. And it was really scary. And from that point on, I just learned to kind of it would come and it would go and it would flare up and it would, leave. And of course, I tried all of the typical medical practices. Go to the doctor, we don't know what's wrong with your back. Go to the chiropractor. Oh, well, it's this. I've even gone to other methods such as acupuncture and therapy. And I did this PRP therapy out in Hawaii. And it just really seemed like nothing worked. It was like I was just going to have to deal with this pain. And it would flare up and it would come and it would go. And I couldn't really pinpoint any rhyme or reason to it, so I just kind of resigned to the fact that this is my pain and this is what I was going to have to deal with, and
so how bad would you say it would get, scale of 1 to 10? Obviously you had your ups and downs. It was sometimes better, sometimes worse, but how significant was it?
It would be I would feel like I was a 90-year-old arthritic woman getting out of bed in the morning. I had to use both hands. I had to move really slowly and just, it was insane. And I'm like, that's, I couldn't imagine what I had done to my back.
You were in your 20s and 30s?
Oh, I would say through some of it, yeah. But as I got older, it got worse. So, and at least in the last couple of years, it was just escalating. So my new normal would be a 5, where maybe it was like a 3, and it just kept kind of creeping up
over the years, getting worse and worse.
Right.
Now, relevant to the Zero Pain Now program and the real cause of pain, did you find that you always hurt in the same place, or was it kind of different in different parts of your body?
It was one side of my back, then the other side of my back, and then, pretty much it was always centered in my back, sometimes my knees, but mainly in my back. And now that I think back about it, maybe that's where my headaches were stemming from.
Okay,
and
so you had some headaches as well. Were they migraines or just tension headaches? Okay. And you said you went to chiropractic for, any idea how long you did that for?
15 plus years.
Okay.
Minimum.
And so how often would you do that?
If the pain was really bad, I was going, once a week at minimum, or maybe twice a week.
Right, in crisis mode, trying to really manage it.
Absolutely.
Okay. And did that really help you out at all, or?
It would be, or I think it would be a temporary, because then I'd go home and I'd ice it and I'd heat it and it would loosen up, but it never really got rid of the pain. It was just kind of like a Band-Aid.
Okay.
And maybe not even, unfortunately, that effective of a Band-Aid.
Right. Okay. So I think that gives everybody a real good idea of the history you know, a lot of years worth of pain. So you and I started talking early May. That's when we first had the first phone call, and at that point you were saying, I'll try anything, right? You got to that point where I'll try anything. And so when I explained the Zero Pain Now process, admittedly, it's very different from what you'll hear from doctors. Pleasantly, you were very open to that. So tell me what your impression of the whole process was, either from a Zero Pain Now standpoint, like what do you think about that and how it worked for you? And maybe, you know, how it was working with me as well. Like, how did I help you out?
Okay.
I mean, if you can talk to that, that'd
yes,
be great.
I have to preface it that I'm a very stubborn person.
Okay.
Comes by me naturally, unfortunately. But I was very open to the process because as much as I believe in modern medicine, and I think there's good points about that, I knew that going to get an MRI, a CAT scan, whatever it is that they were going to do to me, was they were just going to be like, here's a pill and good luck. And
Did you ever take drugs or pain meds throughout that time?
Mm-hmm. Muscle relaxers, but
any opioids or anything like significant?
No, but I'm a last resort medicine person.
Okay.
So I tend to kind of not go that path. But, you know, when it got really bad, then I had of course, I couldn't move, I couldn't function. Right. So I'm just trying to think where we were at. So.
Well, we can jump in. I interrupted with the whole question about the drugs.
No, that's okay. So the medicine. And then, right, so they were going to give me, you know, here's a pill, good luck. Right. And that was not acceptable to me. And I knew in my heart there had to be a different way. So when you started explaining the process and what it was about, I'm like, yep, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Right. I totally 110% wholeheartedly believe what you're telling me. Right. This is, it was just like, the energy brought it in at the right time, and I was ready, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. So it was very open and receptive to the process. And then I started working with you, and I read the book. I think, oh my gosh, I think it was like in a day or something. It was
you just blitzed through it.
I made the decision. You know, a lot of people don't want to make that decision. You just make the decision, and you know, for most people, they're like, no, or yes, but I always tell people in life in general, you know, why not try it? What's the worst you can do? The worst you could do is it might help, or it might not. So, you know, I'm a very positive person. I was like, all right, I know this is going to help. I believe in it. I believe what you're telling me. I felt comfortable with the way you presented everything. You were very loving and kind and caring, and that made me feel really comfortable as well. And then you were really, really supportive with going through the process. Sure. And me being like, I'll do it.
Yeah, making sure you stayed on it.
It was really good, you know.
Despite the fact you wouldn't like email or tell me what was going on, and days would go by and I wouldn't hear from you.
But I was doing it.
Which is part of the coaching. You know, the accountability and the frequent communication, that's something that is part of the process. And despite you know.
I just took advantage of that later.
Yeah, not really playing along. Fortunately, you still stuck with the process. You stuck with the daily. There's some writing activities and some things that you can do as part of Zero Pain Now. And I think the fact that you, number one, had an open mind. Number two, you embraced it and dove right in. And then you followed the process. You actually did it. So, you know, here's the good part. Tell me a little bit about the results. Like, how quickly were you able to start seeing a difference in your body and your pain levels?
After reading the book, like immediately I got it. And then we had that coaching session, and that was extremely powerful. And it just opened me up more, and I was able to just go deeper and really, you know, because I had some, what kind of pain do they call it when it just goes somewhere else?
Sciatica or, oh no.
When the pain transfers to the other, I can't think of what it is, but you said that might happen.
Oh yeah.
Where it jumps.
Basically the pain is on the run. It's
right.
It knows that you're onto the real cause of the pain, and as a result it moves somewhere else to try to trick you into believing that, oh, now something's wrong with my knee. So I remember that within a couple of hours we had a couple of moves in location. We had, I believe, a significant reduction in pain.
Huge.
And the great news is, before we even started, the results of Zero Pain Now and you doing that work had already brought you down to a level that you were saying, I'm actually feeling pretty good,
Right.
much better than normal. And that was before we did that full, few hour coaching session. And then there was the follow-up work. So where are you now?
So I'm so excited to say that I can get out of bed in the morning and I get up and I feel good. And if I feel like even something might be slightly bothering me, I go through the process.
Right.
And I stop myself and I make myself do it because I know it works.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I can feel better. And that's empowering, to know that you can, by just doing the process, you can absolutely change your pain 110%.
And it happens how fast when you do that?
For me, it happens really immediately. Like I just have to stop and go through it, and within a couple minutes, I kind of know where I'm at, how I'm feeling, and what it's going to take for me to get through that.
So what I like to tell people is that we're still human, and we will still get symptoms throughout the rest of our lives. The value and the power of Zero Pain Now is you now have a tool set. Number one, you know what's going on, what's causing the pain, and you now have a technique to utilize every and any time pain or symptoms show up, whether it be gastrointestinal or headaches or anything. You know what's going on. So it's that tool set to go, boy, I'm not afraid of this anymore, because you've proven it to yourself enough times over the past 45 days or so since we started working together that I know what's going on, because if it wasn't an accurate assessment of what was causing your pain, how would you possibly be able to get rid of it?
Exactly.
Just by changing the way you're thinking and processing. So, anything else you want to?
So it's exciting, and I'm just so happy.
So what did you
to
do
be
the
out
other
of pain.
day?
I'm so grateful.
You said the other day you jumped on a bike and were on it all day.
Oh yeah, it's what? I don't even notice it anymore. Like, it's not
would you previously have not done something like that? Or would you force yourself through it and then hurt as a result?
Probably. That's probably what I've done. Yeah, there it is. So yeah, I'm just grateful for you, and I'm thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for presenting this and doing this coaching with me, because it's changed my life.
I hope
because
so.
Being out of pain.
Yeah, it definitely changed my life, and that's why I got so passionate about wanting to help others.
Right.
So it's obviously thrilling for me every time I work with somebody, and very quickly, 17 years of pain can be gone in, days or weeks.
Yeah, so I'm just grateful, awesome. And I hope everybody, is just as grateful that, you have the opportunity to work with in the future, because I know you're going to change a lot of people's lives and make it better for them.
Sounds great. Well, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
No problem.
Good day.